Hi, everyone. Are you looking for ways to reclaim your breath, reset your nervous system within this very chaotic environment that we find ourselves in? If so, you're in the right place. My name is Marissa Price. I'm a healing practitioner helping sensitive, introverted, high achieving Black women heal from trauma. And the purpose of my channel, Heal with Marissa Price, is to create safe places for Black women to process what we've been through, share knowledge, share resources. And so, the resource that we'll be sharing more about today is our upcoming breathwork circle called Breathing for Liberation, Breathwork for Liberation, that I'll be co-facilitating with Dani, who is a fellow social worker. But we'll be sharing more about that. But with that, I'll pass it over to Dani to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Osio, it's so great to be back on the channel, my second YouTube home, other than my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel called teatime.beauty, and that is a space, a creative space, creative playground for healers and those healing. I am also a breath coach. I am a mental health counselor, a doula. And so I recently, so it's so really cute because each time I've come on this channel, I might have like tweaked a bit my focus.
Mm-hmm.
However, now I've comfortably landed with breath doula. So
Oh, I
I've
love
done
that.
some childbirth doula work. I've done some postpartum doula work. I've even done some prenatal breath work. So I just figured everyone uses breath practices, and even having support in community or individually with accessing our breath. I was like, that's still doula work. That's still supporting someone. That's still being a support in a very vulnerable way. And so breath doula. So yeah, I've landed on that.
That's amazing. Breath doula. I love that. Um, and as you said, like throughout various stages in life, it's so important to be able to reconnect with our breath as a way to get us through these tough things that we encounter. I think you mentioned like childbirth and how breath can assist with that. Do you want to share anything about that? Because I think that's so interesting, like the process of childbirth and how breath work can assist with that.
Yeah. Yes, I actually worked with someone who met with me at least 2 months before her due date, and we were working on thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, just being more mindful and aware of what we're currently experiencing. I started incorporating some breathwork practices and even a simple breathing in through your nose and slowing down that exhale, being
Mm.
mindful when your breath quickens and when you're actually able to notice it slow down, noticing the environment you're in. If there's ever a consistent environment where you're noticing, okay, my breath quickens, my chest gets very tight in these environments. So just starting to notice. And then over the weeks, again, starting to pair, okay, what are some affirmations? What are some thoughts we can focus on instead of the fear or the worry or whatever things that are showing up as stressors? What are some ways that we can identify? Um, what kind of positive affirmation can I use to combat the negative thoughts? Oh, okay. Did that at all decrease the stressor? Okay. How can we incorporate breath work in this process of noticing? We're breathing
Mm.
anyway. Okay, so as I'm reflecting on my negative thoughts, am I noticing my breath do the thing it usually does when it comes up sporadically or intrusively? Even when I'm intentionally thinking about the negative thoughts I'm experiencing, do I notice my breath shorten or quicken? Right? So incorporating the breath work into all of these other ways that we're tending to ourselves. Because again, we're breathing anyway.
Yes.
So with breath work
Mm.
or with childbirth or even just being in that labor process, my body is doing the things it needs to do anyway. So I can
Mhm.
observe, I can practice observing. Oh, they told me to deepen my breath at this point, or they told me to breathe a certain way. However, how much trust is present in my mind body connection?
Ooh.
I've been practicing and remembering and picking up all of the education around this thing, but how much have I been embodying what it's going to feel like, right? When I'm in
Mhm.
the moment of feeling safe enough to practice this thing in the moment?
Right.
Do I have trust in my body? And does my body have the ability and access to trust the things my mind is sending, the messages my mind is sending to my body, right? Because if I'm having negative thoughts and I'm telling my body, well, relax because we're doing this breath exercise, and all along I'm noticing the negative thoughts, maybe even sometimes remembering to combat them with positive affirmations, and I'm still I'm still noticing the rapid breathing, the inconsistent pacing of my breath. Okay, I'm doing all the things. I might still have some frustration because I'm recognizing my body isn't really connecting with the whole process. I'm doing the relaxation, and how come my body's not? Is there trust there? How much have I been practicing this when I'm not dysregulated?
That's important. I want to ask about that, the trust, right? The self-trust, something I've been rebuilding as we've talked about. Both of our experiences in toxic workplaces, right, have kind of, I'll speak for myself, disconnected me from my body in various ways. And now, like, coming back in to my body, to my breath, how do you even begin to like rebuild that sense of self trust? As you said, like mind body connection, that we need breath in order to function fully. If it may have like withered away within these environments that we've been in.
How did I even get here? Do I know? Have I held space to show me, excuse me, that it matters to review what I've been through that has led me here? Or am I jumping into this assessment with what's wrong? Well, what's wrong with me? Well, what's wrong with my breath? And what ways can I just do it better? Can we start with celebration? Wow, my body has kept true to its commitment to keeping me alive no matter what I've been through. And now when I'm like, okay, body, I'll help you out. You know, what little practices can I use to, help my body function? Wow, body, you've held it down so long. I want to be a team with you now. I want to help you do the things that I know you've shown me you're going to do anyway. And even in the moments where it's been difficult and there's parts of my body that weren't functioning the way that it was created to do, or that it was designed to do, how can I also give it compassion, give my body compassion? You are doing the best that you can, just like I'm doing.
That's so powerful. That is so powerful. Starting with like the celebration, the self-affirmation of the things that you have survived, that your body has carried you through, I think is so important to be able to rebuild that sense of self-trust. Yes. And Lavendula, hello, says it was self-trust. Yes. I struggle with that. Me too. Me too. It's a work in progress. Yes. Hello, hello. Hello, Sade. Good to see you. Thank y'all for joining. But I do want to ask just the unconscious ways that stress, as we see so many of us are under an extreme amount of stress with what we see happening in the world at the moment. And being in survival mode, as these systems often force us to be in, can really impact our breathing, right? And how breath work can help with that. Anything that you'd like to share around that?
Our body is being impacted regardless of what we're labeling in our mind as what the experience was. So I can say, oh yeah, I'm just not going to focus on that. Whoa, our body already had its impact to it. Like it already took on whatever the right, the sensory details of the environment, the way that my body interpreted the information. It's already processing things that my mind is saying, I don't want to be involved in that. The body is already, so I'm going to break it down in emotions, are energy in motion. So emotions are going to be the body sensations. So that tight chest.
Yes.
That stiffening in the shoulders. That even pulling away, right? That is part of the emotions. That is the emotions. Feelings are how we label the emotions to make sense of it. So I could experience the emotions of, right, again, the chest being tight, the shoulders being stiff, and I could be feeling elated, or I could be feeling deeply, deeply terrified. I could be at a concert, woo, yay, like, oh my gosh, all of this stuff, and I'm still really tense because I'm so, all of these these sensations, right, from the really loud music time around a lot of crowded people. I voluntarily brought myself here, and also I'm still feeling the overwhelm in my body, right? I could also be in an environment that's really triggering to me, right? It's really activating. And so being careful of, okay, how expansive is my vocabulary around feelings?
That's a really good question.
Or do I stop at some of the basic feelings that I've been able to identify throughout my life, and I go off of whatever emotional, right, experience I'm having? I revert back to my default label I've paired with those sensations. So what if I'm feeling more than terrified in the moment? What if this is a new experience and my body is like, we've never done this before, and this is something we've been technically preparing for mentally. It's just, I've never been in this experience before. So maybe I am terrified, and maybe I'm also really excited and really feeling this anticipation. What if I'm feeling so many things at once and I stopped at I'm terrified? How might that impact how I'm showing up in the space, the ways that I'm thinking in this situation, and the emotions I'm allowing my body to process in that moment? If I'm terrified, I might stop at, well, I'm just going to take this tightness and tenseness as maybe do less, or for some of us, maybe do more.
Right.
Or if I can sit long enough and observe in my body what this experience is like for me, and explore, oh, are there other feelings that might be present right now? And if so, how can I be with them right now? Am I uncomfortable? Is anything threatening or dangerous right now? That is a practice. It's not a quick fix at all. This slowing down and using our breath to heal. It's not a quick fix at all. However, with repetition, it becomes familiar. And then that's where the trust and safety start coming in. Because at first the body's like, well, yeah, whatever. You did that one little meditation that one time, well, whatever. Like, I'm still gonna be tense. I'm still not gonna tell you all the reasons why I'm like this. Maybe come back another day and keep coming back. But if you stop coming back one day, I might go back to, I'm not telling you anything. So it's a relationship. It's all the connection is quite literally building a safe relationship with myself, recognizing, where have you been? What got you here? Wow. Did I leave you at some point? Will you offer me some forgiveness and compassion? And this is all between me and myself. If I don't want to give myself compassion at this moment, can that be okay? And can I just figure out some ways just to keep myself safe in this space while I let myself observe where I'm at with this?
That's powerful. And as you mentioned, like rebuilding our relationship with ourself first, right? Because that is often overlooked. I was never taught about that, to have a really strong relationship with, as you mentioned, like your body signals, what your body is giving to you. So often in the society, we're like kind of disconnected completely from this information, right? This sacred information that's constantly flowing to us throughout our bodies. And so I love that. It's a practice over time. It is, because when you first start, it can feel so unusual. if you're used to being dissociated day after day, right? To just pay attention to the things that your body is doing
Mm-hmm.
and letting that guide the way. Yes, that's so true. I do want to ask, the societal pressure to stay strong, right, which is the messaging that's often specifically targeted towards Black women, but how this might affect our bodies, right, our health, things like being dissociated. If we continue to receive this message that we just have to be strong, that we can't show emotions, that we can't have a moment where we need to breathe and rest. Anything that you want to share around that, just the impacts of this messaging rooted in misogynoir?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, just in case there's anyone here that is unfamiliar with dissociation, how it might show up, I'm just going to list a few ways that dissociation can come up. And the origin of why this might come up for different people is expansive. So, okay. Dissociation can show up as flashbacks, intrusive thoughts and feelings, unexplained medical symptoms, depersonalization and derealization, which means depersonalization is I feel like I'm having an out of body experience, and derealization, my surroundings don't seem real to me. Loss of control, identity confusion, identity alteration and multiple identities, reduced awareness, psychogenic amnesia. I looked that one up before. I'm gonna need to look it up again just so I'm
This is very helpful.
okay, I'm getting all nerdy here, but okay.
No, we're nerdy here.
So inability to recall personal information. This can happen after traumatic or stressful experiences. This is dissociation as well. Being in a trance state, zoning out, being really absorbed, or sometimes people say my hyper focus, but to a point where nothing else literally is in my awareness. I'm so absorbed, right? Divided attention. I'm having such a difficult time concentrating, and this feels different than I usually have difficulty concentrating on multiple things at once. I might forget. This is completely my attention in no way can be on one thing at a time. So all of these ways dissociation can come up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to go over that. Now, would you mind asking the question again?
Yeah, the societal pressure, the messaging that we receive to stay strong, to keep pushing through as Black women. Not really, the society does not provide us space to breathe, to rest, to check in with our bodies, and how that may impact us if we're not aware of what our bodies are feeling, doing, because that space hasn't been carved out for us in society.
The term that comes to mind when you describe this experience is imposter syndrome, in the way of it's not me that was ever incapable, or whatever the things, negative things that might come up based on how I perceive myself. It's about, there was something about this environment where I wasn't able to blossom. The ways that I learned were not tailored to, right? There's something about, there wasn't a match and for me to be able to grow. Okay, so how can I know that my truth in an environment that's constantly telling me that your truth is not going to be validated, or much less have space held to be acknowledged? And to be in those sorts of systems that weren't created for you to explore your identity, how could I not experience identity confusion? How could I not experience this constant sense of loss of control? What is control in these sorts of environments that I have to operate in a very specific way in order to move through it? Not even be able to let the system support me, not even be able to thrive in it. I'm actually just surviving in it. I actually don't really want to be here most of the time because of the way I'm feeling within myself. However, this gets normalized because, again, we're surviving. When I'm surviving, how much am I thinking about my identity when it comes down to I want to eat? Or I am at such a lack in my social wellness because I'm constantly around people I don't resonate with. How important is it to focus on how divided my attention is? Maybe sometimes that feels safe that my attention is so divided and I'm so disconnected and dissociated in these different ways. Maybe is that my survival response?
Mm-hmm.
So this is part of coming back to meeting me where I'm at. How did I get here? And what do I want to address first? Because me taking care of myself in one way is automatically going to have ripple effects in every other way of my life. Uh-oh.
That's true.
So
That's
the quick
true.
fixes don't usually have that effect, though. The quick fixes
Yeah.
usually can support a very targeted area in your life. And it might even require some sacrifice in other areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
The slow moving, the developing from the inside and then seeing the ripple effects of that in external areas of life. That is where we want to start when it comes to dissociation. We wouldn't want to just get the person, hey, come back. How come you just keep zoning out? It's, are you safe enough to recognize where you
Mm-hmm.
are right now? Wherever you were, if this is what you need to be doing right now, if this is your version of safety in this moment, how can I support you in this moment? Instead of trying to make you do a certain thing that it obviously your body is not naturally resorting to that state of being.
Right. That's such a good point. And as you said, to be gentle with yourself, to be compassionate, right? Because these are often patterns that are so deeply ingrained. They're often patterns that are passed on generationally because we have been in survival mode for so long, right? And so the fact that this may be difficult to do something like reconnect with your body, to breathe deeply, this is like centuries that we are facing, right? Centuries of oppression that we're facing, why it may be difficult. So that, I think that's such a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I see Marissa here. Hello, enough by M&T. She says this makes so much sense. Like a plant needs strong, slow growing roots before sprouting.
Ooh.
Yes. That's so true. That is
Yes.
so true.
Yes. And I learned recently that when a plant is dehydrated and it got too much or a lot of sun and it didn't get enough water, it will blossom or bud or something like, but it'll like in a really, really rapid, fast way. Or seed. What's the terminology to this? But it'll do something in a way where that's not the natural way of the plants grow. It's like a way to preserve, I believe, because of it's like, oh, I guess I didn't have enough of my needs met, so I need to not, there's a word I'm looking for, but like speed up this process. So I got to get a seed out so I can reproduce. Like it's some type of signal because of the lack that it sped up its process. But past that point, it's no longer able to grow and produce plants in the way that it was. From that point, it's either get the seeds or you have to start over or something. I'm still new to it, but when something about that, I'm like, it reminds me of in childhood, you are forced to grow up faster if there's some sort of lack that the child is picking up. The child doesn't go straight to, oh, I hate my parents. No, they say, oh, I still love my parents. I still need, right. I still desire them, no matter how much lack I'm seeing. Even if I can put the two together, there's something I'm not getting, and I think I'm supposed to be depending on it from you, and I'm not getting it. I still want you. I still need you. I still, right? And will want to be around you. And that's shown no matter how much trauma a child has gone through. There's a biological connection to needing, and there's something I know I need and want. And also I'm recognizing there's something I'm not getting. So I'm going to speed up my development in some way and figure out where else to get it. Or I'm going to figure out a way to survive through this without having that.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And I see Kyoka says, I've been trying to get out of functional freeze. I had to realize I wasn't giving myself enough grace and safety. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, anything you want to share on this, Danny? I think it's so important for us to give ourselves just the level of grace and compassion, especially during these times, learning to be, I think, our own safe place,
Mhm.
right? And part of that, just thinking about breath work and things like
Mhm.
body awareness with everything that we see happening externally, the more that you can create that safe place for yourself to return to, I think it's so important. But anything you want to share about, I guess, navigating something like being in freeze mode?
So I'm thinking about the trauma responses, so fight, freeze, and fawn. Um, Knowing which circumstance do I show up in those things, or maybe are there certain circumstances where multiple of those might show up.
Mm-hmm.
Getting really comfortable with knowing myself more than I'm depending on other people to tell me about who I am or what I'm going through.
Ooh.
So when it comes to functional freeze, when I'm freezing, do I start having any kind of trust that starts going away? Do I ever start having some doubt creep in? Am I actually able to be safe right now? Do I actually have support outside of myself right now? Can I even trust that the tools I do know and have used in the past, can I trust that I can access them right now? Noticing what kinds of mindset am I in those moments. That literally requires us slowing down.
It does. Mm-hmm.
Even getting some support, because if this is something we've been experiencing for so long, we might have labeled it, just like how in the beginning we talked about labeling our emotions, the sensations we're having in our body with a feeling word. Have I experienced this thing in my body for so long and I've labeled it a certain thing? So I've convinced my mind and my body that this isn't something that I really need to fix. This is just how it is. So it
Mm-hmm.
starts first with, is this something that I'm willing to acknowledge and commit to recognizing time and time again? I don't want this anymore. And I'm willing to recognize when I have the capacity and ability to, how I got here. So whenever I freeze, it's not, it hopefully over time becomes something that's less scary. I'm so out of control. I can understand, okay, this is something I go through sometimes, and this is the things I do in this moment when I start recognizing the signs. And hopefully, again, because of the mindset shift, I'm focusing less on the fear of when this happens, and I just am out of control. All of the memories start rolling in. I have some ways to prepare myself even before the moments happen, of things that I do have access to when that moment does occur. Even if all I'm accessing is noticing the things that end up impacting me after that moment. Especially in a freeze, for me, it's really hard to be able to be aware of the details. So if I'm in
Mm-hmm.
a freeze or even a fawn, I know, okay, please give yourself some grace to recognize, even if it's days after, the ways that this impacted you, maybe even the boundaries I could have put in place before that moment happened. Like, it's okay to recognize after the fact ways that that situation could have felt more safe for me, because there's a reason why I wasn't able to see those things beforehand, or there's a reason why I wasn't able to practice those things in a way where it felt natural to do that. Now my trauma response feels natural to me right now, and that's where I'm at.
Mm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And I think part of that, as you mentioned, is like telling yourself your own story. So you can pick up on those patterns, right? When I'm in an environment that feels familiar, maybe something that I've experienced before, I notice my body reacting this way. So next time I'm in a similar environment, I'm not going to judge myself for having this reaction because I know it's reminding me of something in the past that I'm still working through. I'm still moving through. I'm still in the healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of giving yourself that leeway and grace instead of immediately going towards self judgment, which I feel like a lot of us are trained and socialized to do. Right, immediately judge our bodies. Like, why am I feeling this way? A lot of that is social pressure sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thinking I'm not acting how other people think I should be acting. And so just giving yourself that level of grace, compassion, and understanding is so important. Yep.
Whew. Yes.
And I see a comment from Marissa saying, yes, they go to seed and
Oh,
become overproductive, but stunt their personal growth. Ooh, revelations being had. Okay. We love revelations.
ooh, overproductive. Ooh, that's me. That's me. It's like, oh, I have a little bit of extra resource. This isn't really the resources I needed. Like, I would like an abundance of any resource. You know, that would be nice. But sometimes I just don't have a filter. So I just open out the resources and then I overgive. I'm like, oh, what can I learn? I like learning. I'll learn all this stuff. Oh, you need resources? I'll overgive. I'll overgive. I'll overgive. I'll overgive. Okay. What resources did you want to learn about, and how can those resources benefit you? Can that be enough for right now?
That's so important. Yes. Yes. Kyoka says, I love that. Thank you. Yes. Um, and just as you've shown, like having a sense of humor about this too is so important, right? Something that's been impactful for me is just kind of like learning to go with the flow and then like chuckle when I notice like, am I really back in that pattern doing that? Yes, I am. Okay. And I'm going to take myself out of that because I know how that ends up. I'm going to try a different route. As you mentioned, having some type of like flexibility, humor, all these things, incorporating them into your healing journey, your breathwork practice, your somatic healing practice, I think is so important. Yeah.
That allows us to tap into that trauma. It happens because I'm taking care of myself, and now my body feels safe enough to show me more of what it's holding on. So now I have choice to look at it, release it, do something different with it. Like, I have choice now because I'm slowing down. Because I'm using something that's actually benefiting my body can receive this. In the past, what are some ways that I was responded to when I was a kid, or when I first started experiencing this sensation in my body? What were the responses my body was observing? Oh, was it harsh treatment? Was it really quick, like responses with not much room for space held for my perspective to be put into the mix? Okay, am I treating myself like that in some ways too? Breathwork
That's
is
so important.
Breathwork is specifically to slow it down, unpack it, and do something different now.
Do something different. Ooh, yeah. And as you mentioned, like so much of this is like tied to childhood trauma, right? And what we experienced early on when our brains were in the development phase, the prime development phase, where we receive these messages. A lot of the body responses that we had became like cemented to types of stress, and just even recognizing that, right? So this is a longer term thing that we're healing, which is why it can feel so difficult, right? As I mentioned before, like it feels so simple to say breathe, but it literally can be difficult to incorporate a practice of breath work. And I think we're like unpacking why that is. It's tied to so many things.
With that freeze, okay, when do I freeze? Is it an initial response when something seems scary? But literally, when do I freeze? And what's my reaction when I freeze? Oh, my heart rate decreases and I have less movement in my body. Let's get clear. What's literally happening in those moments, right? Because if we were to see, okay, when I was a little kid, or whenever I first started recognizing this is the thing I'm going to do when I feel this, when I experience this, when I hear these types of things, go back to that. Okay, well, how can breath work help me with this? If nothing comes up, okay, it's okay. Okay, come back to it though. Come back to it. And even if it's, I don't think this is gonna help, I'm gonna try it anyway. Right? We in breath work, we want meet you where you're at. Whatever the
Right.
breath practices say, do what works for you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if even I'm sitting here and everyone's doing the little exercise and they're doing the way that it's being guided, if it's enough for me to sit here in this space with other people and breathe and give myself permission to consciously let go of any worry, any fear that comes up in this moment during this session, that's the piece that I'm receiving from this commitment I'm making. So less
Mm-hmm.
pressure on this thing is a tool and it's supposed to help me. Is there any expectations I'm having over the result of this effort I'm putting forth?
Mm-hmm.
That's just me building my relationship with myself also. Have other people given me space to explore this part of me? Who am I when I slow down? Do I know? It feels really scary to slow down and recognize things start coming up, especially the body sensations. So that's where somatic practices come in. Let's get in touch with the muscles. Let's help the energy move. Okay? So paired with my breath, how can I move with each breath? How can I consciously, intentionally slow down by, even when I'm brushing my teeth? Before I go ahead and as I'm putting the toothpaste on the Well, yeah, I did
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel some stiffness in my shoulders. Let me go ahead and loosen that up before I go ahead and get my dental hygiene in. And look at myself in the mirror real quick. Say, you know what? Good job. Look at you. You did a breath just now. I saw that because you usually hurry up and brush your teeth because you got the next thing. But I saw you slow down just now. So go ahead. And it feels good, doesn't it? All right, well, let's go ahead with our routine. It doesn't have to be too disruptive either, incorporating breath work.
Mm-hmm.
Other people might notice you start taking deeper breaths and you'll see them because we have mirror neurons. You might notice them.
Yes, because as soon as you did that, I felt myself.
Ooh,
It's true.
okay. How many other people took a deep breath? And I didn't say, okay, everybody, let's prepare. Because I can do that. I'm more than happy to do that. But it's just that practice of let me go ahead and incorporate this in a way that is custom to my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I see a comment here. This is Stacy. Hello. Yes, I have choice. Yes, we must remember that. This is good. Well, thank you so much for that. And yes, that's so important. Yes, choice. Choice is so important. Yes. Hey, Kiana. Yes, that's so important. I always think I'm not doing it right. Yeah. Yeah. And just kind of, as Danny said, like giving ourselves space to explore with different tools. I think just in like social work education, I don't know what that's coming up, but there's a very like top down approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so many of us as Black women social workers are pushing back against that, right? Because we're the experts of our own lives, right? We know what works for our bodies, we know what tools we need often. And so just being able to explore to see what works for you and not feeling like you have to do anything a particular way someone said if it's not working for you. I think that's important. It's like it's self sovereignty, right?
Hey, literally the
Mm-hmm.
opposite of what the systems who don't want us to tap into conscious breathing have taught us. No, do it the way we said. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm gonna breathe. My body is already actually breathing, not like involuntarily. These systems are working within my body, so I am voluntarily supporting my body and doing things that it's already doing for me. My body doesn't. My
Yeah.
heart doesn't beat for anybody else. My lungs don't take in oxygen for anybody else. And how can I incorporate that truth into how I'm showing up for me? I don't want to
Mm.
disrespect my body. My body has seen me do for years, take care of other people. My body said, but how's she gonna? She gonna do all that for them and she didn't even, oh yeah. So trust. I have a lot of trust to build with my body. Because it doesn't forget.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
important. I want to come back to that. Yes, I do see a question from Marissa saying, "Can you ladies explain what you mean when you say somatic practices?" So, somatic just meaning associated with the body. So, somatic healing practices are things like breath work, mindfulness, gentle movement, anything that brings you back into the body, exercise, right? Yeah, anything that allows you to process what you've been through. Because, as Danny said, like the body remembers what we've been through. And so often in like Western healing practices, we're taught to solely stay within our minds to cognitively process what we've been through. But that leaves out the impact that this has had on our bodies. And so anything that you can practice that you can come back into your body and process. I think art can be a huge somatic healing practice too. Anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you want to share around that somatic healing practices?
Mm-hmm. In order to manipulate the mind, in order to convince the body to do something that the body might not have naturally done, I have to be really stern to my mind and punish my body when it's not doing the thing.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Yikes. So I asked my grandpa one time, does anyone in our family deal with depression? And he said, how could they not? And I said, oh, that was just validating it. Like, literally, this conversation is already fulfilling. Like, we don't even, do we need to go for it? Like, oh, yeah. Instead of, oh, some people have it, some don't. No, how could you not? Based on what we've been through. Like, he didn't even have to go into detail. That was so validating. So can I treat myself like that when I recognize things about myself that now I'm able to observe as, oh, this has been a bit limiting to the way I want to express my true identity, the way that my soul has been seeking for space to be held for it. Like, it's looking for me to hold space for it. It doesn't need actually a physical environment. It doesn't actually need permission from other people outside of me. It just this whole time needed me to come back to itself, meaning start paying attention to the things I'm telling you, please. Please. So I can tell you the things that you're not picking up on. I'll tell you, but you're looking for some, like a mental, like, or maybe an external sign, or like a mental thought or awareness, but it's coming from the emotions. When my body gets tense, let me take a second. Is this really what I want to be doing right now? Oh, this is excitement. Okay. I give us permission to move forward now that I'm certain and I'm connected and I'm trusting that whatever happens, there's things I can control. There's things I cannot control. However, I am certain about what my experience has been up to this point.
Wow. Yes. As Kiana says, yes, be stern with my mind and punish my body. Yeah. That is bringing up, so many connections. Um, I think about centuries, right? Centuries, this has been the case as Black people. We've had to kind of turn off our bodies. We've had to like override our body's natural signals to push through so often, to do things that our bodies were telling us, no, I don't want to do this, right? No, I'm overworking myself. But how oppression works and functions, it tells us, right? You have to override these bodily signals in order to survive often within the system of racial capitalism, right? In order to get resources that should be afforded to us to survive, you have to keep working past the point where your body's telling you, I can't go anymore.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And does anyone ever struggle with like expressing your anger? Anyone other than me?
Yes.
Anyone?
Me.
Okay. Oh, we could find things to get angry at. What if I'm angry with myself? What do I do then? What do I do then if I'm angry at the things I am now recognizing in some way I allowed, and I know that it's necessary to forgive myself because I wasn't aware or in control in the way that I have access to now. But what if I'm angry with myself? And what if it's not just anger? What if I'm sad too? What if there's so many feelings that are going on in my body, and that's contributing to my inability to connect with my access to expressing anger in the many forms and fashions?
Yeah.
I'm holding back because it actually starts with me first. Not because I caused it, but because for so long I've been the main one to reject and repress it. The systems are telling me yes, 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 rejected. But remember, our heart is beating for us. So our lungs are holding in oxygen for us, right? So my body only is recognizing, oh, but you told me to repress that. You told me we're not supposed to do anything with that. So when I start breathing, I'm giving my body permission. I know what I said before. I know what we've been saying for generations. Trust me, this is going to do something for us. And the body's saying, oh, well, I don't, do you know what's going to come up? Because I know what I've been holding in. I know you don't know because you've been the one telling me to repress, right? So beginning to have those internal conversations around, I'm a full human being and I have permission. I give myself permission to feel my full range of feelings, even if sometimes and most times it starts with me. So then by that, give myself permission to show up and experience that and share that in relationships with others.
Right.
Back to forgiveness is for me. How do I know how to offer forgiveness if I haven't experienced offering myself forgiveness? How can I experience expressing my anger if I haven't really experienced expressing any anger that I might have had in my relationship with myself? I have the right to experience every emotion and feeling for myself, with myself. I do. And be safe in it. Hello, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I have choice.
Oh, this conversation is free. I love it. And Kiana says, baby, she's on it. That anger at with self for the self betrayals. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, anything you want to talk about around that feeling? Because I know that's that can be a deep, deep feeling that comes up around having the awareness of potential self betrayal, right? Of what's coming up for me is like kind of shame, right? The deep shame is always a very difficult, deep feeling that comes over us. And I guess like how breath work, how somatic practices, again, related to the body, can help us move through these things as they come up.
So for any area where I'm experiencing hesitancy towards exploring something that I'm actually curious about what the benefits of it might be for me, but I'm feeling the hesitancy toward even exploring it. Okay, what emotions are coming up right now? Okay, what body sensations do I experience when this topic even comes up? Okay, what feelings? So for anger, angry could be irritated, enraged, hostile, insulting, annoyed, offensive, aggressive, bitter, inflamed, provoked, right? Infuriated, worked up, right? Look at all these words. So I could be multiple. Okay. When I experience this in my body, what thoughts are coming up? Okay. And how do I usually behave when I'm in that space? Okay. Now that I know that, in what area of my life is accessible for me to incorporate a simple, longer inhale through my nose and an extended exhale? Not even making it complicated, putting in that, it's called Ujjayi breath or ocean breath. But okay, when would that be applicable when it comes down to when do I experience that anger? Am I irritable more in the morning? And if I don't have some space for myself and people are already asking things of me, that's when I might be more irritable. Okay, well, that might be where I incorporate the breath practice. Even if it's 5 minutes, and even if it's not like a 5 minutes alone separated, if you know, mom life or whatever type of lifestyle you have, maybe it's for the next 5 minutes as I'm going through my morning routine. I'm going to be mindful that I'm paired with maybe an affirmation about the day, the way you want to set the tone for the day. Okay, so that by that I'm actually releasing the emotion, the sensations, the tension, the emotions of that experience, right? Even though I'm not activated by that in that moment. That's actually the best time to practice it. So before I'm like before the people start asking me for stuff, and even if that gets interrupted and I end up feeling that emotion, okay, next time, this is how I'm gonna incorporate. Or this isn't the end of it. Maybe I'll try again at lunch. Consistent practice, and it's not a punishment to the body. When things come up and it feels difficult to do the breath, ease up on doing it in a structured way. Body, what do you need right now? I don't want breath practice to become one of those things where I'm forcing myself to do it. I want to figure out what is a way that I can build the commitment while also having compassion and grace for when it's difficult. Because again, I know what got me here.
Powerful, powerful. And kind of releasing, as you said, like the need for everything to be so highly structured. Again, going back to the systems, educational systems, the work settings that we're in so often that force us into these very inhuman ways of doing things, and getting back into the flow, right? So just when you notice it coming from a place of compassion, I feel like I could invite breath here into my practice, into my daily routine, instead of it being a punishment, right? I'm going to judge myself because I'm not breathing, so I need to do a breath practice. Like, no, going the opposite way towards gentleness, self-love, and compassion on this practice. I love that.
It's a gift. It's a gift. Ooh, yes.
Yeah, Sade says, wow, I love that your grandfather responded that way. Some elders would reject that, not because they don't see it, but because they were conditioned to downplay their own feelings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for saying that. I'm going to share the live with him. His birthday was yesterday. I'm like, look, you're famous.
Happy birthday to him.
You're helping more than your granddaughter.
Yes. But yeah, I do want to talk about our upcoming Breathwork Circle, Breathwork for Liberation. This Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, I'll be co-facilitating this with Dani. Anything that you want to share around just some of the practices that we'll get into, talking about the links, as we mentioned today, between oppression as Black women and why our breath may be restricted. This is something that is generational, right? Many of us are cycle breakers. We are breaking the cycles, telling us, I guess, the messages that have told us that we need to ignore our bodies, push through, consistently be in survival mode, which is like deteriorating us from the inside, and inviting breath work in as a practice of liberation. So anything that you want to share around that for Sunday?
Yes, I actually have some affirmations to share with us.
Okay.
A little sample.
Yes.
Of what's more to come. Okay. So these affirmations are thank you 66. He's 66 this year. I'm very grateful. Okay, so liberation through breath. Here's an affirmation. I'm going to read the affirmation. I want you to repeat it to yourself or out loud. And then we're going to breathe in, and I'll demonstrate now. We'll breathe in through our nose, filling up the belly with breath. We'll hold it just at your own pace and letting it go. Slowly out through your mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. Okay, my hand is on my chest. I like to notice what my heart feels like when I'm doing things like this. So when we say the affirmation, we're going to breathe in and we're going to really embody what it would be like to be in this space, to feel in this space of embracing this affirmation. And when you exhale, I really want you to focus on releasing tension from a certain area of your body, or just releasing a burden that has been maybe attached to this affirmation, or has been a limitation to your ability to access embracing this affirmation. Okay, so our first affirmation: I find freedom in each breath I take. So I find freedom in each breath I take. Inhale, hold, and release when you're ready. Okay, good, good. So just a summary of this affirmation. I acknowledge that every breath is an opportunity to let go, release tension, and embrace liberation. Okay, so we'll do our next affirmation. This one is around rest as resistance. I honor rest as a powerful act of resistance.
I honor rest
Rest
as
as
a
a
powerful
powerful
act
act of resistance. Inhale.
of resistance.
Okay, a little summary of that one. I recognize that taking time to rest and recharge is a radical choice that strengthens my spirit and sustains my well being. And last one. Okay, this one is around community as medicine. I recognize the power of community as a source of healing. I recognize the power of community
Powerful
as
community,
a source of
source of healing.
I embrace the strength and support that can come from being part of a nurturing community, understanding that together we can overcome obstacles and foster growth. So, just a little sneak peek of what is more to come this weekend.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And those affirmations are powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they remind us that it's not just us individually, again, in the West, as we're often socialized. It's just us doing breath work. As you mentioned, too, which I think is so important, when we model this practice of breath work, of mindfulness, of slowing down, it has a ripple effect throughout our families, right? Throughout our communities. We're often leaders so often. And so people will see us in what we're doing and start to breathe themselves, right? Start to give themselves permission to slow down. And so this is a very powerful way of tapping into our liberation through something like breath work, coming back into our bodies, something that has been denied to us so often over centuries, and really refusing at this point to go any farther. Like, no, I'm going to stay in my body because my body gives me so much information and it's here to protect me. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, yes. We can go on in a new way. We can. And we don't have to
Mm.
leave everything we've learned behind. We actually know so much from knowing how much I can go through. So, how good can it get?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I love that question. How good can it get? Um, What's
Okay,
coming up
one
is
more.
good.
It's
Yeah.
sorry, because if I knew I could not fail, if I knew I could not fail, what would I do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that question. Ooh, so many things are coming up. So many things. And as you demonstrated during this conversation, just the importance of asking ourselves these questions, right? Getting curious with ourselves, I think is so important because I think, like, an effect of being dissociated, which these environments often force us into, uh, we kind of lose touch with asking ourselves, like checking in with ourselves. How am I feeling? Can I incorporate this? Do I feel better after doing this practice? What do I want to explore? Um, and just giving yourself that space to get curious about yourself. Tell yourself your own story, right? Invite in things that bring you joy. And as you said, how good can it get?
And if it feels intimidating to start that journey alone, here's community. It's okay to recognize I think I need help feeling safe enough to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not judging ourselves, right?
Hey.
Because as we've talked about, there are so many forces that are trying to push us to move faster than our bodies want to go, our bodies are constantly giving us these signals. And so there is pressure to ignore what our bodies are telling us. That should not be there, right? That did not exist at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're feeling this difficulty, this barrier of how do I even start to breathe, know that you're not alone. And there are forces actively trying to steal our breath, which is why breath work as a practice is liberation. Hey, Milo.
Say hi, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like
We needed him.
He hasn't gotten that much bigger.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, yes, as we're winding down, I do want to ask how people can follow you, follow your journey online, and anything else you want to share as we wind down today.
Okay, so I am still working on setting myself up so I can offer, yay, I'm a new cat mom. I'm setting up how I would love to be able to offer sessions, whether it's group sessions or individual sessions, just breath sessions. So it's along with what we're doing this weekend, please tap into my teatime.beauty, YouTube. In the meantime, I will, of course, be posting more breath work sessions. And, of course, please, in the comment section of my videos, put things that you want more of as I start sharing different breath practices. This is you being a part of my journey of building confidence. And I know enough, and this can be supportive for other people. Let yourself receive and as you give. So teatime.beauty is my YouTube channel, and please, I am more than happy to collaborate. And yeah, some of you will be my first clientele around my breath doula journey. So incorporating my yoga teacher training with my mental health professional background, social work background, with the doula work that I've done with families. So yes, I appreciate you all. And Marissa, I appreciate you a ton. Again, this is my second home. So Marissa Price Heals. I'm really grateful for this community because this has built my confidence a lot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that with me. And yes, I think this is our third conversation together. Actually, fourth.
Yeah.
So yes. Thank you so much for being a wonderful guest, as always, for sharing with us so many gems. Again, I'll be co-facilitating Breathwork for Liberation this Sunday, August 10th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. It is sliding scale pricing if you would like to register for that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. The link to register is in the description section. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here.
Ooh, share your community.
Yeah, so I do have a community called Black Women Freelancers. Yes. And let me get the link to that real quick. If you are a current or aspiring Black woman freelancer, hold on, Ruby. Who else cannot type and talk at the same time?
Okay. I'm like, we're talking about community, and this is part of it, right? A lot of us here know about your community, but for people who don't.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So if you're interested in freelancing, again, as we talked about today, kind of exploring different areas to bring in income, specifically with what we see happening right now, targeted towards Black women in the workplace, many of us facing layoffs, job cuts. If you're interested in alternative ways to generate income, leaning into your skill set, that is the purpose of Black Women Freelancers. I also have a second YouTube channel called Black Women Freelancers. And yes, I think that's it. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it.
And your book Cocoon, because that is a beautiful book to pair with the breath journey. Okay, I can read through my affirmations and breathe through them, right? So she also has a book called Cocoon.
I do. Yes. The moving through self-promotion. I appreciate it. Yes.
You help me, I help you.
Yes, thank you. I have a book called Cocoon, Affirmations for Transformation, which I actually wrote being in the garden, created by Alicia Renice, where I met Dani, Marissa, Lavendula, Sade in the chat. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's on Amazon if you need affirmations to carry you through a difficult transformation period. Please check that out in physical form or ebook. Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
it. I think
Yes.
that's it.
Okay. Before I repeat this.
And yes, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe if you're interested in like content like this in the future. And also on Instagram, Marissa Price Heals. I'm just going full self promotion at this
Yes,
point.
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn,
TikTok.
Marissa Price, MSW. Follow me on there.
Mhm.
I actually just launched a newsletter on LinkedIn today called Black Women Lead. So if you're interested in that, check me out on LinkedIn. But yeah, join us on Sunday if you're able to at Breathwork for Liberation, a healing circle for Black women. And the link to register is in the description. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. If you're here live, if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much. This was splendid. Thank you both. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, Kiana. And yes, until next time, y'all. Thank you, Dani, again.
Thank
Appreciate y'all.
you. See you.
Bye.